crazy. Bigtree said go out and catch this cold. So let me be perfectly clear. For all of you that are healthy, not suffering from diabetes and obesity and cancer and other comorbidities that are under the age of about 75, let me be perfectly clear. You need to go out and catch this cold. Save America. Save the world. Catch the cold. Here's why. Comparing SARS-CoV-2 natural immunity to vaccine-induced immunity. Results. SARS-CoV-2 naive vaccinees, meaning people that got the vaccine that had never had the virus, had a 13-fold increased risk for breakthrough infection with Delta variant compared to those previously infected. 13 times the amount of infection amongst the vaccinated compared to those who had just already had the natural infection. Why? Because nobody catches this thing again. Less than 1% in every study around the world. And if you really drilled it down, it's about 7 people in the entire world have caught this thing twice. All right. And if that's not bad enough, and someone was asking me, what would you say to Joe Biden or, to Mayor de Blasio? I'd say, are you guys looking at Israel? You do realize they purposely made them a test group for the whole world to watch, right? And you watch it, they were making studies for us all to study so we know what's going on. Well, those studies are coming in, and Israel's information is coming in. It is the most vaccinated population in the world, okay? They should not have coronavirus. Unfortunately, this is Prime Minister Naftali Bennett, his own quote, here it comes. A very important message that the public must understand, and I think most people are not aware of it yet. The most vulnerable population at the moment, in a paradoxical manner, are the ones who have received 2 vaccine doses and not the 3rd dose. That's the leader of the most vaccinated nation in the world saying our most endangered population are not those that are unvaccinated, it is those that have already had 2 vaccines. And to follow that up, Israel's COVID chief just said, given that the virus is here and will continue to be here, we also need to plan for a 4th injection. This, he goes on to say, this is our life from now on in waves. I have news for you. That may be your life, but it's not our life. It will never be our life. And I have news for you, Joe Biden. It will never be our life. You will never get away with this because the people have heard the truth and they're waking up. They're waking up. And here's the facts. Here's the facts of the matter. When it comes down to what is the science, why is it spreading everywhere? Why is Israel, did you know this? That Israel, people from Israel are now banned from entering Sweden, the only nation that didn't lock down. They're banned. They're not allowed in because they're too infected. And there's nations all over Europe that are now banning Israel. Do we want to be banned because we all took a vaccine that is only somehow making us more infectious? No. It's time to wake up. This is an infection fatality rate. This is an article that came out, a study. This is done by John Ioannidis, one of the world's leading epidemiologists from Stanford University. Let me just tell you how science is supposed to be done and what it sounds like. The data synthesis, he took 23 seroprevalence surveys representing 14 countries that were included. Across all countries, the median infection fatality rate in community dwelling elderly and elderly overall was 2.4%. 2.4% under the elderly and 5.5% for the extremely elderly. IFR was higher with larger proportions of people over the age of 85 years. Younger age strata had low infection fatality rate values of 0.0027%, 0.014%, 0.031%. I could go on and on, but for all of you teachers that are here today, that have your jobs being threatened because you simply believe that you have a right to decide what's injected into your body, and you're being told by our government that you're putting our children at risk, nothing can be further from the truth because here is the actual risk. From the ages, remember, world-renowned epidemiologists, the best in the world, between the age of 0 and 19, your infection survival rate is 99.9973%. 99.9973, meaning your death rate is 0.0027. 2 zeros after that decimal, folks. And in case you're 20 to 29 and you're a little worried, your infection survival rate is 99.986%. So if you're wearing a mask and you're worried about this virus and you're in the age between 20 and 29, I hope you have cancer or something. I hope that that's the reason, because otherwise you're wasting your time. 30 to 39, 99.969% across the world. We're adding everybody that doesn't have clean running water in here. And all the elderly are in there. 40 to 49 years old. 99.918% survival rate. 50 to 59. Hold on, folks. Now we're getting really close to that scary age. Listen to this. If you're 50 to 59, 99.73% survival rate if you catch it. 60 to 69, 99.41%. I know I'm getting redundant here, but you all getting the point? And here it comes. Here comes the big doozy. This is it, and this is why, we've got to be very concerned. For those that are over the age of 70 years old, you have a survival rate of 97.6%. The only ones that are below 9%, and guess what? You also have cancer and diabetes and multiple sclerosis and all sorts of other autoimmune diseases, because if you're a healthy 85, they're going to count you as a 49-year-old. Those are the facts. That is just simply the facts. And any news camera out there, I dare you to say that Bigtree, passed misinformation without a fact behind it. Those are the quotes from peer-reviewed studies. Those are the quotes from the heads of the CDC. This is total and complete insanity. So you teachers, just know that the safest place on this earth, and this has been documented in multiple studies, is in the classroom. That the children and their brilliant innate immune system and their ability to just handle this disease with no problems. In studies of tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of classrooms across the world, we discovered that we saw almost no teachers get infected from the kids. That somehow the children protect the adults when they're around them. But then what did we do? We put masks in our children. This is the equivalent of taking a kid and saying, don't run, don't walk, sit in a scooter, roll everywhere you're going, never exercise, and that will make you the healthiest. Because that's what they do. Every time they breathe in this beautiful air on our planet, their immune system is being charged. The bacteria and the viruses that are in the air charge their immune system to get stronger and stronger and stronger. And now we're denying them the air. And by the way, the same is true for all of you. What do you think happened? Nothing happened. You need to breathe this air. We are here as a species on this planet since the dawn of man. Never has a virus, never has a bacteria ever wiped this species out. Do you know why? You want a little bit of science on that? It's really interesting. Viruses evolve to become less deadly. You may say, well, that doesn't make any sense. Why would that be? Why does a virus get less deadly? Well, think about it. The evolution of a virus, just like an evolution of every animal that exists on this planet, wants to survive. It wants to spread its seed. It wants to proliferate around the world. It can't do that the moment it kills its host. The moment it kills its host and the host drops over in the field, that virus is dead forever. So the virus learns. It learns and figures out, how do I infect a host but keep the host alive so I can keep spreading? It's kind of weird, but this is how it works. This is the actual science. And so the viruses always get less and less dangerous unless we do something really freaking stupid. What happens when we vaccinate? What happens when we vaccinate with a vaccine that does not stop infection, does not stop transmission? Now that person that's walking through the crowd that maybe should have died because they had a deadly virus is carrying that deadly virus and spreading it to everyone around them as it gets more and more deadly because this vaccine isn't killing it. The only people on this planet that are killing this virus right now are those that have been naturally infected. Their immune systems are killing this virus for us. That's the science. That's the science. Handed down by Geert Vanden Bossche, who used to run the vaccine program of Ebola at Gavi. The ex-vice president of Pfizer, Dr. Michael Yeadon. The inventor of the mRNA vaccine, Robert Malone. All of these people are speaking out and saying, you must know the science, you must know the truth, we need to wake up. So I want to say this to all of you right now. The pressure is on. Our government, not going through a Senate, not going through a Congress, but dictating to us laws by a singular human being, whether it's a governor or it's a president, abolishing everything we know to be our constitutional system and our legislative system. They are coming after us. They're coming after your jobs. And if they get their way, the way that they're being told by the globalists that are running this whole thing, that are shutting down the grocery stores in France, and believe me, they're coming after your grocery stores. Are you ready to feed yourself if you can't get in? They're shutting down your restaurants because they want you. They need you vaccinated. That's the only way they can get done with this entire global system takeover. This is a dangerous, dangerous moment for all of us. And I know all of you are out there and you're thinking to yourself, I've got to feed my family though. If I can't feed my family, if I can't do my job, then what do I do? And so many are starting to say, I guess I'm going to have to get the vaccine. I just want to be clear. The moment you get that vaccine, you now are among what may be the walking dead. The one thing is for sure, you are now helping that virus mutate to a place that it could eradicate this species. There is only one group that can protect us now. Every one of you that hasn't been vaccinated, that is going to get natural immunity, you are our only hope. You are our only future. And that is not because I've said it. That's because that's what the science tells us. That's what we know to be true. So if you acquiesce and you decide to get that vaccine to feed your family, I just want to let you know you've let your brothers and sisters here that expected you to be a part of our team, you've let us down. You have got to stand up now. Not just for your own health, but for the freedom of this nation and the dream of our founding fathers. It hangs in the balance. It's in your hands now. And for everybody that's out there thinking, well, I'm just going to have to get the vaccine so I can feed my family, I want to ask you one question. How will you feed your family if you are dead? For those of you hearing this for the first time, let me be perfectly clear and explain the science. It's called antibody-dependent enhancement, immune enhancement. This is what happened in every single animal trial of a coronavirus vaccine for the last 20 years. They would give the animal the vaccine. They would inject it in the animal. It looked like it was safe. They were doing fine. And then they would draw the blood on the animal, and they would pull it out and see that it was creating antibodies, something we all know a lot about now. We're getting antibodies. It looks like it's working. But then they take the animal trials one step further than they ever take human trials. It's called a challenge study. And they inject the animal with the coronavirus. And every single time, let me make this clear, for the last 20 years, every drug maker, every approach to a coronavirus vaccine had the same result. Every single time when they injected that virus, they saw that the antibodies, though they were robust and there was lots of them, didn't seem to block, neutralize, and kill the virus. It seemed to help the virus into the cells of the host. And those animals suffered what was called a cytokine storm, a total immune system meltdown, organ failure, lung pathology called Th2, immunopathology in the lungs. That's right, I've done my research. I'm talking about the science. At the end of every one of these animal trials, they would put out a caution. I've read it on my show. Caution in going forward with human trials is necessary. We're not there yet. Did we express caution? No. After having all of that problem, Donald Trump pushed warp speed and warp speeded a vaccine into the population, the vaccine that never worked on animals. So here's what I want you to know. I actually believe that this is an accident. I know a lot of you think it's nefarious and the government's trying to kill us. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. But I think these people have made the biggest error of all times. They're starting to see antibody-dependent enhancement. We have over 14,000 reported deaths in the VAERS system, Vaccine Adverse Events Reporting System, the highest death rate of any vaccine in history. In fact, more deaths than every single vaccine ever made in America combined over the last 2 decades, in just the last 8 months with this one vaccine. Harvard Medical School looked at that VAERS system and said it appears after a 1-year-long study, VAERS is capturing less than 1% of the amount of actual injuries. Wrap your head around that. 10,000 deaths or more could only be 1%. Let's just give them the benefit of the doubt and it's 10%. This vaccine may have killed 100,000 Americans so far and it's not going to stop. No matter what it is, all of these scientific principles reign true. None of them have been, able to be shot down by the CDC or the FDA or anybody. But notice Israel, that now has a vaccinated population filling their hospitals. They are terrified now. They're talking about a 3rd vaccine, a 4th vaccine. Other nations are saying, don't let them near us. And what's doing it? The vaccine program is doing it. And now Joe Biden just had 2 people quit from the FDA because they're like, Joe Biden can't make this decision. But someone's telling Joe, I think we might have marched 160 million Americans to their death. And the only solution we have is another vaccine, and then another vaccine, and then another vaccine. I believe we are about to witness the greatest human die-off in the history of the world. I hate to say it. And I pray to God that I'm wrong. But if the science stands as we know it, then this virus is mutating, and those that are vaccinated, they have singular immunity. I know this is a science class, you're all probably expecting something exciting, but you need to know the science. When you get vaccinated, here are the facts. You are being injected with a vaccine that carries the spike protein. How many people have heard of the spike protein? Okay. The spike protein is only one of 29 proteins on the entire virus. This vaccine doesn't have the spike protein, but a message being sent to your cells to produce the most deadly part of the virus over and over and over again. We are turning your immune system and your cells, actually your cells of your body, into a into a virus manufacturing plant. And when you get a natural infection, you may come upon like 10,000 particles, or maybe 100,000, maybe even 1 million. But when you get vaccinated, the Pfizer vaccine says, we're giving you 4 billion spike proteins to your body. And Robert Malone said it could be as high as 4 trillion spike proteins in your body. But think about this, the whole idea, your cells are making this deadly pathogen. And now your immune system sees your cells making it, and it says, wait a minute, I've got to attack my own cells. Do you know what that's called? If that never stops and the immune system keeps attacking your cells? Autoimmunity and cancer. But here's the ultimate problem. That spike protein, when you get the vaccine, is the only protein your immune system now recognizes. It sees nothing else as the enemy. It's a race to see a flu. It's a race to see any other version of a coronavirus. And so all that spike protein has to do is mutate a little bit, and now everyone vaccinated is completely blind to the new variant. And that's the facts. That's what's happening now. And there's no way to fix that in the person it's happened to. Meanwhile, everybody that got the natural infection developed immunity to 29 proteins, every single part of that virus. So any moron like Tony Fauci that wants to tell you that the vaccine is even better than natural immunity should be put out in a farm on a field somewhere all by themselves for the rest of their lives. immunity. We all need to develop immunity to the entire virus, and there's only one way that's going to happen. I hate to say it, we're all going to have to catch this cold. That's it. And I want to be clear. Our vaccinated brothers and our unvaccinated brothers, it's the same. You're going to have to catch it too. You can't hide from the virus. We tried that. It didn't go away. We wore our masks. It didn't go away. We all have to man up. We're going to have to woman up. Actually, it tends to be the stronger gender, if you ask me. And we're going to have to catch this cold. And we're going to have to say to everybody, look, you're allowed to take your vaccine. I've never tried to stop people from taking a vaccine. People call me anti-vaccine. Dell's anti-vaccine. No, I'm not. I'm not. Let me be perfectly clear. I'm anti-rape. If I see someone being raped, I'm going to run in there, black them off, have them arrested, beat them to a pulp, and I'm going to handle that situation. That's anti. That's anti. If you want to get a vaccine, bring it over here and I'll shove it in your ass for you. I'm just not going to take it myself because I'm a free citizen of the United States of America. Joe Biden said, this is not about freedom. This is not about your choice. Oh, it sure is, buddy. It sure is, buddy. It is all about our freedom, and it is all about our choice. And I will stand in the courtroom, and I will fight for anybody's right to get a vaccine if they want to get it, and I will fight for your right to never get it. And we will never stop fighting until we are still free. United States of America are lying to you. The CDC is lying to you. The FDA is lying to you. MSNBC is lying to you. Fox is lying to you. CNN is lying to you. Turn them off! Turn them off! Start talking. Because here's the truth. Joe Biden said the other night that 75 or 80% of this country is vaccinated. That is a lie. I looked it up just yesterday. 53% of America is vaccinated. That's it. Half the country. They don't want you to know that. They want you to think that you're a minority. They want you to think that you're going to be overpowered, that the mob is going to rule over you, that you have no choice. And if you speak up, everyone's going to stand against you. But we are the majority. We are growing every day. Why don't we know it? Because they made you afraid to talk about it. They have made you feel bad to express what you believe in. Your God-given health, your natural innate immunity. But the teachers are walking out. The doctors are walking out. The nurses are walking out. And you know what's happening? It's really unfortunate. Once they get to the parking lot, they're looking around and saying, oh my God, where did all of you come from? You're not the only nurse in your hospital. You're not the only doctor in your hospital. You're not the only teacher in your school. You're not the only driver in your union. We own this, but we will never win this unless we start telling our truth to everybody. You must speak. You must stand. You must grow a pair of American balls and represent who we are and what we are. Because no matter what this president has to say, or the vice president has to say, or a governor has to say, this absolutely is about freedom! 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 That freedom is our inalienable right. Do you want to hold on to it? Then fight like hell!